Hello, hello. It's David. It's Sunday morning, and I thought this morning I would talk a little about death and dying. And I had a friend pass this week, a friend that I hadn't seen in a few years, but still a man I felt was a friend and a caring man, a giving man, and so it just brought to mind a lot of us in my group of acquaintances, my men's group, and will know him, and it'll touch a lot of people, and so I don't know, it came up this morning to speak about death and the body that we live in, that many of us think is ourselves. I am my body. That idea that we are our body is guaranteed to fall down, guaranteed to come to an end, and many of us face that with fear, with uncertainty, with dread, the fear of death, and yet, in many ways, have not really lived while we were here. Lived in an outside way, but not in an inside way. How do I say this? Because I've done it as well, and I know that I've done it. And I've tried to be what I thought others wanted me to be. In some ways, I tried to please. I tried to get my fulfillment from outside of me. And so whenever I was doing that, I wasn't really here living. I was trying to be something instead of just being who I am in this moment. And oh gosh, this brings me to the thought that, even as a child, I remember thinking there must be more. This isn't all there is. I remember being brought up in my family, and there was, for me, I don't know how it was for the rest of them, but for me, I was a lot of my time was spent kind of trying to figure out how to fit into that group that we'll call family, and then how to fit into the community that we were brought up in, and how to be, and trying to be seen by my parents or my siblings, and I grew up in that, and so and that continued, a life often of trying to do what I thought I was supposed to be doing, and as opposed to having enough presence to know who I was and what wanted to be done, who I was inside. So that the question that I'm speaking about is, have we really lived? Have we really lived? If we're living in shoulds and shouldn'ts and rights and wrongs, and and judgments and fears and complaint, are we really here? So when a friend passes, somebody close to us, and we look at their lives, of course we can't see anything really. We only see our perception, but can we even a little bit get of a hint? Did that person, that man or that woman, really live their truth? Really live fearlessly? Really live in the moment? Or did they miss the opportunity? Well, we don't really know. We don't really know. but we do know about ourselves. And so my encouragement is to practice watching the mind in its conversation about shoulds and shouldn'ts and how we're fitting in or not fitting in, or, like our neurosis. And because if I'm living from my mind, I'm not here. I'm not saying that the mind isn't an important tool, but I'm not here. My goal is to, my goal, my most important thing, and I don't even know how to say this, is to be here now, to be in my, even in this talk this morning, no idea what was going to come out, no planning, just, I sat here in my room for a little while and I thought, what wanted to be talked about, in this thing with my friend Andrew, who had passed, was running through my head a bit, and I was wondering, how was he? He went fast, but how was he? Did he know? Did he know who he was? In many ways, I think he might have. He certainly served, and seemed to serve unselfishly. So, anyway, the body will fail. The body will pass. And we all know when we look at a child, a little infant baby, that there's something in there, a seed in there. There's a being in there, even before it can speak, even before it has awareness of where it is. That being that we recognize, it often brings us to tears in a little infant child, in a newborn. Well, it's still there. And that's, at the end, when the body fails, that being moves on. We're always here, and it's the permanent state of who we are. And so connecting with that being and being in, that in each moment is the game, to be that. For many of us, it's been clouded by ideas of who we should be. And so, yeah, I think, it's guaranteed that in each moment right now is the opportunity to stop, pause, to drop back, to breathe, to be here now, to feel this moment. And all of the outside calamity or the outside drama or the outside busyness, that gets us out of the moment into, just let it go for a bit. It'll be fine. Always it'll be fine. Nobody is for us, really. Nobody's against us, really. Life is just life. And all of our thinking is from judgment. And our judgment has been created by our circumstances, by our parents, by our, the conditioned belief system. So we really can't trust those things. Just be in this moment. Hey, you guys. Hi, Emily. Oh, I'm so glad you're in town, my love. I'll come see you soon. Hi, Tracy. So I'm going to quickly read this. I forget sometimes. What day is it, you guys? Is it the 10th August? Is it? Tell me. Is it the 10th? Does anybody know? I think it's the 9th, isn't it? It is the 9th. Hi. So I've been reading for quite a while out of this book. And the big book, which is our text in AA, actually teaches us how to live in the moment. It really does. It leads us on a path to intuition, to freedom. It's an awakening book to unconditional love. to service. And so from that big book, we have an awakened experience as a result of the steps. And then this little book was written in 1954, almost 20 years after the big book was written. And this fellow had a lot of emphasis on the disease sometimes, and some of his emphasis was on the solution, which is being present and having a relationship with our higher power. For want of a better term, we call it higher power. We can call it God. Those are concepts. And so he talks about the problem here from the looks of it. The first line in this book, which is 24-hour day book, we have, he says, an allergy to alcohol. The action of alcohol on chronic alcoholics is a manifestation of an allergy. We get that. And lots of people who don't know, think that it has something to do with, poor morals or poor, they're just not strong enough. But an allergy is an allergy. And when we take alcohol in our body, something happens. And, it takes over, a craving begins. And we allergic types can never safely, it says, use alcohol in any form at all. Now that's right out of the big book. We cannot be reconciled to a life without alcohol unless we can experience an entire psychic change. Isn't that great? That is like right out of the book. Once the psychic change has occurred, we who seem doomed, we who had so many problems that we despaired of ever solving, find ourselves able to control our desire for alcohol. Have I had a psychic change? So he took that literally right out of the book. That's kind of cool. And that was his thought for the day. And then the meditation for the day. Ask God, he says, in daily prayer to give you the strength to change. Yes, we touch in with God, and that's our natural state. We're lifted up. When you ask God to change, when you ask God to change you, which is different than you changing, when we ask God to change us, it's different than asking God to help us change. You must be you must at the same time fully trust him, her, it. Very hard, limited when we speak about this infinite intelligence, because we use concepts like him. Even the name God is a concept. If you do not fully trust him, God may answer your prayer as a rescuer does that of a drowning man who is putting up too much of a struggle. Oh, as a rescuer might, of a drowning man, is putting up too much of a struggle. The rescuer must first render the drowning man still more helpless until he is fully at the rescuer's mercy. Just so must we be wholly at God's mercy before we can be rescued. Nice. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may be daily willing to be changed. I pray that I may put myself wholly at the mercy of God in the moment. If you've been watching it for a length of time, I often speak about whatever your idea of God is. And I think this requires some time, to really contemplate, to sit with these questions, to be with the teachers, to listen to some of the great teachings. I've been listening to Muji lately, who I just love. And Muji says that being in the presence of God is really our natural state. Just like this infant child, when the little baby is born, and we stand there and sometimes have tears. They're tears because we're exposed to we see the love. It's like, oh my gosh. And it's so pure as this, sometimes an hour, or a brand new baby. It's so pure. And we actually see and feel like we're in the presence of a miracle. And that is in us always. That is in us now, and that is who we are, that miracle, that love. And so it's our natural state. It's how we came in. It's how we'll go out in our natural state. So we can actually be that now, because we are that. It isn't something we have to attain, something we have to work for. We are that. And as we realize, we self-realize that, it's amazing to feel that oneness. It's beautiful. Okay, you guys, love you, love you, love you. We're on YouTube as well. Love it if you go to the channel, Valley and Beyond, and subscribe. Okay. Thanks. Have a super, super life. Live it. The body's soon gone. Live it, live it, live it. Okay, you guys, bye.